Good morning. This is Samuel Cortez. This is your instructor. Just wanted to point out some of the features of the syllabus, just very briefly. So introduce you to the syllabus. Make sure you can find it and you read it, and you can go through some of the main aspects of this fully online course. Just wanted to remind you that this is a fully online class, and so you'll be required to submit assignments in a virtual environment. That means everything is done through a computer. I place a link, you can see it right there, that shows you how to log in, so you can log in into your course. In there are a lot of tutorials that help you figure out, uh, what if you need some guidance in terms of getting into the course and some of the details, technical details about the course. Like I say, I'm going to try to be as present as possible as I can in via videos or sometimes audios, and you'll see lots of information that I'll be submitting on a regular basis. Now, this is a 4 week inner session course, and so things are going to very quickly. We'll be having pretty much exams every week, about 2 or 3 chapters per week. So you'll be doing a lot of work in a very short period of time. So you need to make sure that that you are basically online every day. So again, some just a general point out on some general areas, the course description and so on, some of the outcomes for the course. Here's information about the textbook. Make sure that you get that you can see the textbook that is available at the bookstore. It's basically a sort of like a loose page. It's probably the cheapest physical textbook that you can find. I also provided a link. You can go ahead and link into this place right here that that will send you to an e-text version of the textbook. As you can see, at a considerable reduced price from the hard copy version of it. So click on that if you want to go ahead and get that. Just the online version. You can the e-text version. You can go ahead and get that. As you are well aware, there are lots of other options. You can go into Amazon or other places, and I'm sure you can find the hard copy used versions of the hard copy at a very reduced price. If you get a different edition, like the 11th edition, that might be available, probably even at the bookstore, you can use that. Just be aware that some of the pages may not be the same. In some chapters, sometimes get switched around. And particularly in cultural geography, there will be changes as the world changes around us. So just be aware of that. Anyway, so there's a lot of information about getting on Blackboard, particularly some technical requirements. As this is a fully online course, I suggest that you be very aware of netiquette rules. Basically, as you're on the internet, there are certain ways that we expect you to basically to behave and to proceed as certain things that you probably wouldn't be doing on a face-to-face course. Some expectations and policies, particularly want you to pay particular attention to academic misconduct and dishonesty, or otherwise called cheating. We have ways that we can that you can check your work, particularly basically some technical suggestions to detect plagiarism and so on. If there are materials that you basically copy and paste for other places, we can find that out. So just follow the policies and try to pretty much stay away from anything that could put you in trouble, or would appear that you are plagiarizing material. Again, because this is an online course, basically attendance is basically checked by by your activities online. So I suggest that you go in every day. If you stop participating, and I can tell, if you start logging in into the course, I would at some point I may have to remind you, and or like say if you start missing assignments or not taking quizzes by the deadlines, then I may have to suspect that you may be not attending or not participating in the class. And if an issue persists, I may have to drop you from the course. So be prepared, follow all the activities, read the materials that are already on Blackboard, and you should be able to be engaged. Most of the way that we are going to be engaging in the course is via discussions. I'll be sending announcements and so on. There's some tutorial services in case you need them, research and citation assistance. If you want to send me an email, I've just provided some very brief information as to how you want to address an email to me. Make sure you tell me, I simply want to make sure that you tell me what it is that you are having some concerns about. You can also message me. There's a feature on Blackboard that allows you to message me via Blackboard. And like I say, feel free to ask questions anytime. I usually respond to emails very quickly, but you need to give me at least a 24-hour to make sure that I return back to you. Weekends, maybe a little, weekend and holidays, maybe a little longer. It may take me a little longer to respond, maybe up to 48 hours. But I try to respond to you as quickly as I see your emails. If there are any issues that you may need some support in terms of disabilities, make sure you check this information here. Go to the webpage for DSPS. Let me know. You can email me. You can let me know if you need some support. There's a process that you may have to go through. Contact DSPS as quick as possible so we can provide the support that you need in terms of testing and so on. Here's some important deadlines. Because of this being an intersession, you literally only have like the first day of classes to basically to add codes, and after that, no adding will be permitted. There also the withdrawal lines. The withdrawal deadlines are very quick in terms of if you want to drop the course, if you want to do any kind of changes, the deadline goes very, very quick. So you may want to check those dates, keep those dates in mind if anything happens that makes you change your mind about the course. Here's basically some of the assignments. I put this table in there to indicate to you the assignments that we're going to have. We'll have some map quizzes pretty much every week. We have exams. These are going to be typically multiple choices and fill-ins. There's only 3 of those, worth about 300 points. Most of the points are going to come in forms of participation. We're going to have some news assignments. I'm going to be posting some news articles, and I'm going to want you to read some of those and provide some read the articles and provide some information that I'm asking you. Typically would be a paragraph where you discuss the main topics being brought up in the articles, and then specifically I want to tie in you to tie in with some of the topics that we are discussing in class as well. There'll also be special topics that I'll be posting. Similarly, I will post a particular topic that typically relates to one of those that we are discussing in class. You will be then reading that and then posting your comments on those particular questions or topics that I'm posting. There will also be reflections. These are more broad, basically reflecting on some of the topics that we're discussing in class. I'll be very specific about them. Again, they can be relatively brief, usually a paragraph, meaning 5 to 6 sentences minimum for some of these responses. You can always write more, but not less. But those are going to be very specific. But I want you to tell me what it is that you're learning. And like I said, there will be some very specific questions that we'll be asking where you'll be getting some points for that. The total in the class is 1,000 points. I try to make it a nice round number. So basically, if you get 900 points, 90% of all the points available, you'll be getting an A. 80 to 89%, that is 800 to 890 points, you get a B, and so on. So make sure you can look at that. There'll be some map quizzes. Basically, I'll be posting some maps with some numbers in them, pointing out. Typically, I want you to know specific countries in the world, with the exception of North America, where we have Canada and the United States, which I may ask you some questions about specific states in provinces in the United States and in Canada. But there are some online information here that where you can study these maps, these places. I'll also post some study guides for each of those map quizzes that I'll be posting. There will be four of those, and those are worth 50 points, 25 points each, for a total of 100 points. I have to correct that on the syllabus. But again, the three exams will basically be the three exams will basically be multiple choice and matchings. There will be again, I explained the participation, discussions, cultural topics, and geography reflections. So in essence, I just want you to make sure that you're not just memorizing things, that you are looking at, that simply looking at the textbook or Googling information to answer to complete your test. So I want you to think about some of these topics that we're talking about, some of the stuff that we're looking at, and so critically think about some of these issues. Here's a tentative course calendar. It may change, so but if I do changes, I will let you know when that happens. But just pay particular attention to all of the deadlines, particularly when there are examinations. I usually would try to put those ahead of time, so you can prepare for when the exam is available. When the exam is available, you can go ahead and take the exam and submit it. As long as you submit it by the deadline, it should be okay. Most of these will be time exams, so you'll only have a certain amount of time to complete the exams. You can't go back, you can't redo them. So basically, when you feel ready to go, when you have read the material, you have gone through the study guides that I posted for each of the chapters, then you can go ahead and take the exam. Each of the exams will tell you what chapters you're responsible for. Again, in this very quick, very intense intersession, we are looking at basically a chapter per day. And so again, you can see the information there. I'm also telling you when the map quizzes are available and when they are due. Again, you submit them similar way that you're going to be submitting your test. There's also a reflection. The reflections will be available. Tell you when they are available, and then when you start working on them and the deadline that you have to submit them by. So again, the various topics are listed here, as well as pages, chapters that you have to read to get the content for the materials. Typically, for each of the chapters, you find a PowerPoint that's been put into a PDF. That particular PowerPoint, it will give you the content information about the topic that we're discussing. There you can also find, I usually provide you also with key concepts that will let you know some of the things that I want you to know about that particular topic. And you'll also see, like I explained, a study guide that walks you through, encapsulates most of the points of that particular chapter that I really want you to know about. Anyway, looking forward to having you in class, and we'll be talking. Very likely you'll see an announcement from me coming out or you might have already looked at it, an announcement that welcomes you to the class, and make sure that any question